literally the biggest makeup box I've ever received or in the mail. Are you guys ready for this? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For the love of glitter, my name is Anna. For those of you who are new here, hello. I saw that Wet n Wild recently collabed with Sanrio and I was pretty excited. I know some people were saying it was very childhood-like, which I completely get, but I also feel like it's very nostalgic to those of us who liked these characters growing up. Sometimes you want to like have a little piece of your childhood, but also don't want to use little Hello Kitty erasers or wear a Kuromi backpack. And so I think it's just a fun way to incorporate your childhood into things you can actually use. And it was very late at night and I was looking at Ulta to see what new things they had, and randomly individual Melody and Kuromi collections slowly started popping up. I kept trying to add them to my cart and it wouldn't let me, and it said they were out of stock, and then they disappeared. I was like, what is going on? And then the next night they released this whole entire collection but no longer had the individuals. So it was either buy the whole collection or wait until whenever, who knows, because there were no details given on this collection quite yet, and Wet n Wild hadn't even announced it yet. But this is the package that it came in. The entire collection, it was $64 at Ulta. It's currently sold out. I think they said that it's coming to their website, Wet n Wild, on July 21st. I'll put the details down below, but it's supposed to be available at Ulta, also on Target online, and also at Walgreens. So you might be able to find it in your Walgreens right now, so I would check that out if you are interested in this collection. But if you don't know who My Melody and Kuromi is, they are Sanrio characters. Totally reminds me of my childhood. I remember the first time I ever went to a Sanrio store was when we were in Hawaii as kids, and I was like, this is a happy place. Like, I just thought it was so cool. So to me, this is just like taking me a little bit back to my childhood. It did come in this huge box. The box that this came in was ginormous as well. It's huge. It's huge. So we're gonna go over and try on for the first time the collection together. So if you're interested in seeing everything that comes in this full collection, then just keep watching. So first off, this collection, if you buy it as a full set, does come with a bag. Now Trendmood does have all the individual prices on her site right now. If I can remember, I will link them down below. On one side you have Kuromi and it says make trouble, and on the other side it says stay sweet, Wet n Wild, and you have My Melody. And the little detail's pretty cute because on the zipper you do have a little heart, and then you have a little skull. So I think it's a cute bag. If I had purchased these individually, I probably just would have said I can pass on it, just because, you know, trying to not spend as much money. But since we just bought the whole collection, here we are, and it is nice to have because it actually does fit everything in there. So you can fit your brushes, it fits all 3 palettes, it fits everything in there. So it looks really small, but it can fit quite a bit in it. So I actually could see myself using this quite a bit. There are 2 eyeshadow palettes. Now I know off the top of my head that these do retail for $9.99, and you have the Kuromi eyeshadow palette and you have the My Melody eyeshadow palette. One is definitely more bright pink and neutral, and then this one is more of your dark and sultry taupey type of shades, and they do all smell like bubblegum. And there is a blush and highlighter palette, and this is also $9.99, and you get 2 blushes and kind of 2 shimmery highlight types of shades. And on this packaging you have My Melody and Kuromi, and it does say limited edition on the front, and they're there right there. If you do want to see swatches, I will be posting more swatches on my Instagram. There are 2 double-ended brushes in this as well, which I totally forgot to use in my demo. I don't know why, but they're super fun because they do that. On one side it says My Melody times Kuromi, and then on the other side it does say Wet n Wild, and you have the eye brush. On one side you have the flat shader brush, and on the other you have the more dense side, and then you have a blush brush, and this one is kind of like an angled fluffy brush, and then this one is like a blush brush. And lastly, we have for lip products, we have 2 liquid lips, one for Melody and one for Kuromi, and then we have 2 lip glosses. And the packaging are super cute on these because they have either Melody or Kuromi, and then on the top they're both the same for liquid lip and lip glosses. For Kuromi, they are, watch me be saying her name completely wrong, I'll feel so dumb. They have skulls, and then on Melody's, my Melody's, you have hearts. So it is kind of a limited edition packaging as well, which is cute. And then you have the characters on both sides. So the packaging was done really well and very cute, and definitely is limited edition. So if you want to see how these products actually performed based on my first impressions, then just keep watching. Starting with our e.l.f. Eye Putty Primer. I always use this if you are new to my channel. I'm obsessed. It is a little bit of a stickier base, so it does hold down pigments really well. I find that it works for most eyeshadow palettes, and it's very affordable. So I really do like it. It is stickier, so it does take a harder time blending. I think we're gonna start off with the My Melody palette. This is the one that I think I'm the most excited to use. When I first saw them launched, I was like, this is the one that I'm like, yes, super excited for. It does have like a bubblegum smell. It's not the best. It kind of smells like bubblegum mixed with plastic. It does have names on the back, but it's a little bit confusing if you can see how it's listed. So I'm probably just gonna point to the shadows that I'm using. I think we're actually gonna start off right off the bat with this bubblegummy pink right here. It does not have a heart in it. We're going, wow, that brush picked up a lot. It does seem to have a lot of kickback at the moment, but let's go ahead and apply that. So with this primer, the thing I like is it makes it stick really easily, and then you have to do a little bit more work blending, but you don't have to do as much work building. This primer, it's blending out really nicely. But if you are having a hard time like with this palette, I would highly suggest trying it with like this type of primer, because look at that. I mean, we'll see if it holds true for the rest of them. And then what I like to do is I really like to build the pigment up in the crease like this, and then kind of just blend it out, buff it out a lot, so it looks like we have a lighter transition shade. And that technique works really well with the putty primer. That's a very vibrant pink. I don't have much else to say. I think we're going to deepen it up with the deeper pink with the heart in the middle right next to it. This one's like a deeper magenta, and I'm going to go on with the same kind of, it's a fluffy blending brush, but it's a little bit more dense. So that one doesn't pick up right off the bat as much. I do have to swipe it a little bit more, but I think it's probably pressed harder too, because it does have that heart shape in it. So let's see if you can tell the difference between the colors. It's not a huge difference, but there is a little bit more of like a purpley undertone with that pink. I'm going to take this really small blending brush and go into the first pink we went into and kind of put that underneath the eye. I like to usually take it pretty low. I'm not really going anywhere today, so I don't think I am. It is a little bit like, what do I really want to do next? Because there is no deeper shade than that dark pink that's a matte. There is this deep purple right here, I guess, but it is a shimmer. But you know what? So we're going to go into the shimmer heart one. And this one is having a little bit of a harder time picking up. I do have to dig a little bit. I haven't swatched these yet. This is kind of like a maroony type of shade. It doesn't look super shimmery in the pan, so I'm kind of expecting it to look more satiny, I guess, but we'll see. Okay, it definitely is more shimmery than I thought it was, because I can see some shimmers going on here in my mirror. Let's get a little bit more. Fortunately, there's not like a lot of fallout or anything right now. This is actually a really pretty color though. I wasn't expecting to really even like it. Normally I don't really like those maroony type shades, so I actually really like, it's like a pinky, it looks more pinky purple than maroon on the eye. I'm gonna take a little bit under the eye. There's a lot of fun shimmers in here, and I don't know which one to go for because I want to use them all. I think we're gonna go into this one first. So This one is in the 4th row, and it's the super shimmery kind of duochrome type one. It's like a red with pink reflect, and we'll see how it does with not a wet brush, but you guys know I always end up using a wet brush, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm using the Bretman Rock Wet n Wild flat shader brush. I feel like that actually didn't go on that bad, but I also feel like this brush works really good at picking up shimmers. That's why I actually love, I say that a lot, I actually love it. Okay, I really like the shimmers we got going on here. I think I still might wet it, you know. You guys know I love to intensify things though, so we're gonna take that on a wet brush now. I think you could create a really pretty neutral eye look with this palette as well. But of course we want to see how the colors, the fun colors work. I feel like if the fun colors in a palette work, the neutrals are most likely going to work too, most likely. Next we're going to go into this one. It's Calling My Name, the lightest pink shade here in the 2nd row. That's super shifting gold. It did seem a little bit more topper-like when I just now touched it a little bit ago. The brush picked up a ton of it, so we'll see what happens. I thought that one would be a little bit more, I mean, it's not like horrible. It definitely is like toppery though. I feel like it just kind of got lost into the other ones and you can't really tell a difference. With that one I'd suggest using wet or with a glitter glue, but I think since it isn't as vibrant as I would have liked, I'm actually going to go into this very first shade, which seems to be a very, like it's going to be a super intense shimmer. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. So we'll see. And we're going to pop that on the inner third. Ooh. So for the most part, all the ones I used I think performed pretty well. I think we're going to take the yellow and put it on the inner corner, the matte yellow. That is right there. I'll stick that in the inner corner, and we might add some like more of that lighter shimmer on top of it. I really like shimmery like corner highlights. For what I'm using the yellow, I think it's bright enough. I don't know how it would be if you like used it all over the lid. There's like a transition. I feel like it could potentially blend out to just a very faded yellow. So honestly, everything performed pretty well. Everything blended out pretty nicely. What I did was add some mascara, and you know what? I think for the price point, and if you love, you know, Sanrio, I think that it's really cute. And I do think that the smell could be overwhelming if you're very sensitive to scents though, so that is something to keep in mind. If I were to swatch some of these shades, I think that some of them wouldn't perform that great, and I think some would be completely mind-blowing. That's how most Wet n Wild is when I swatch it. It's very hit or miss, but usually they end up performing fine on the eyes. I feel like you do have to work with a couple of these, especially if you really want the shimmers to perform like high-end shimmers. Like, you might want to use a glitter glue or use it wet, but I still think you can create a very fun, pretty look. I think the pink is very pigmented. I think the yellow is a little bit, you know, less pigmented, but I think it's cute. Alright, let's go ahead and prime the other eye and go for the dark side. So here is the Kuromi palette. And again, it does have the names on the back, and this one is definitely more purple and gold and taupes, which is actually really beautiful. And I do love that there's some like duochrome looking purple, so I'm pretty excited to dip into this one. So we're gonna go into this matte purple shade here at the bottom. This one's either called Troublemaker or Hollow's Eve. So I do have to dig my brush more into it. It doesn't just like, you can't just tap it and have immediate pickup. We'll see if this ends up being patchy. This is a little bit harder to blend out. I do feel like I am having to build this one. Like, it's not terrible pigment, but I'm just having to go back over. Again, the primer is sticky tacky, so it could be just, I feel like where it's laid down fine. It's just I'm having a harder time blending it out. It could be the brush, it could be the primer. Honestly, this brush, as you can see, it's like going like this. But I wanted to use a fluffier kind of blending brush because I just wanted to start off a little bit less pigmented. So I could have really maybe I just messed myself over by doing that. What is that? we've got a C going on currently, so like I feel like it's building just fine where I don't have color. I think it's me and the brush at the moment. Let's switch brushes. I can't do that anymore with this brush. Alright. Okay, I'm using a little bit of a stiffer brush to at least get some shape going on. I do feel like I am starting to have a little bit of that problem now that I keep trying to cover it up. I do feel like it builds up pretty nicely, and that's the only area that I was really, I feel like, having problems. So maybe just blending it out, it's not the best blend out. Like, what is this line? I'll try and fix that, guys. I'm sorry. That looks, yeah, just not wanting to stick right there. We're gonna try one more time. Okay, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna stick there. My dog just looked at me like, there's a pterodactyl in here. Like that color under the eye. It is a really pretty shade though. I mean, maybe if I just hadn't taken it up so far, I would have been fine. I don't know. It just didn't blend out the way like normally my shadows would. Like the other side I feel like blended out the way I normally do things, and this one, it's like, what's happening here? Crap, I need to go into another color to try to fix this disaster, because this is becoming a disaster. There is this shimmery cream, and I think we're just going to try and take that. I think we're going to take that one kind of brow bone area and kind of just blend it in hopes that, you know, we're going to hope it somethings it, because this is turning into shimmer in the crease. What in the world is wrong with me right now? I don't know. Okay, I'm just really trying to make that purple blend, guys. Okay, whatever. I'm so over you right now. We're gonna do the same thing and use this other darker purple shimmer and put it in the outer corner like we did on the other one. I don't know if I want to use black quite yet, if I'm going to use black, but I don't know. I just kind of want to see if we can use this darker purple as almost another deeper crease shade. That one's very pretty, because even with this blending brush, it has quite a bit of sparkle in it. I think we are going to dip a little bit into that black now. I'm going to use more of a pencil brush though. I'm going to use the black right there. So I do have to kind of push a little bit on there. It looks like it's going to be super intense, but you know, I'm just going to pat it. Of course, I'm using it in a very intense way. So if you tried using this, you know, with a fluffy brush, I do feel like it's getting a little bit patchy even like this, which I usually don't have that issue with this type of method, like packing on a color. I don't usually have... Guys, I'm not a makeup artist, okay? So I'm just gonna say it right here. I'm not like the most awesome person at makeup. So if you're gonna like come at me and be like, well, if you know how to do makeup, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think I'm amazing at makeup. I think I'm okay at makeup. I might end up taking concealer to try and fix it, to shape it. I don't know. But those colors do look really pretty together, even though it's like a mess going on my eye right now. I'm like, we're gonna go dark. And then the whole entire mood changed. Everything was going so well. I don't know what happened. We're gonna take some of this deep shimmery purple down here, and that is picking up okay. We'll see. My husband just asked, are you still filming? Okay, so I had to dig pretty deep, but that's a pretty vibrant color. It's not like the most intense shimmery. And since I dug pretty deep, I do have fallout going on. Like, I'm gonna have a lot to clean up after this eye is done and over with. All right, now we're going into the super shimmery. I'm super excited for that shade because I know it's gonna be more toppery though, but it just looks so pretty, like pink, beautiful purple, pinky sparkles. Oh. So in the Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette, he has those diamond shades. And I'm obsessed with those, and this seriously reminds me of one of them. So yeah, I mean, that is good. This is my favorite thing about this entire palette. Oh my gosh. Like, look how it just transforms the whole entire look. Ready. Okay, I'm gonna finish up this eye so we can move on to the rest of the face. The last thing I did on both eyes, I forgot to say, was I used these ColourPop eyeliners. I used the pink one on this one and a yellow one on this one. I did have a lot of fallout. I had to take concealer and I think it's pretty clear. It's like right now. And I didn't even bother cleaning this up. I just didn't want to make even more of a disaster out of it. But honestly, in the end, I still like it. I think the shimmers are really beautiful and I love how this part turned out just from, you know, the gradient effect between the shimmers. I think is really pretty. I think you are going to have a lot of fallout. If I were to actually wear this out or something, I would make sure I did my eyes beforehand. I think you could probably get a really lot of pretty taupey eye looks out of it. So yes, obviously if you're going to use the darker shades, it's going to be more frustrating, especially like with matte purple. Sometimes you can have that problem like I did up here, but I didn't feel like it was super patchy, but it did have a problem sticking in just one small spot. Yes, I seemed a little bit more frustrated, but I always do when I'm like doing a smokier eye look because I just can't stand like so much fallout and then trying to fix it up and all that. But I would just make sure that I did my eyes before my makeup if I were wearing this out and wanted to do kind of a darker purple eye like this again. But I still think it's pretty regardless. Right, I'm so excited for this, the blush palette. So I think on the Kuromi side, we're gonna do the skull, obviously. Because, you know, she's all about that dark life. So I haven't swatched these. I don't know how pigmented they are, but normally Wet n Wild blushes are pretty pigmented, so I'm just going to do a little toppy all around my, so it's like a deep plum. Gonna tap that off a little bit first, and we'll slowly build it up because I still do want you guys to be able to see the color of it. Yeah, so that was like the smallest amount, but you still can kind of see it. That is literally so small. Okay, whatever, let's, you know, this is a review, first impressions. Let's go all in. Okay, so I went a little bit in without tapping or, you know, doing that to my hand, getting excess off. I don't think that's bad right now. So I might even add just a little bit more so you can see it a little bit more. It's just like a deep plum shade. I think in here it looks like it does have shimmer, like gold sparkles, like it has like gold sparkle glitters. But I bet on the cheek you can't really see them. No, I don't see any of that on my cheek from this blush. But this is gorgeous. I like this. Especially if you like get really tan. This, oh, or you have a deeper skin tone. I really like that color. I am a fan of that one. Now let's go into the shade. This one's called Call Me Nice. So we'll go into that one. This one's completely matte. And it looks really pretty. It looks like my favorite type of shade blush. Okay, that one's sticking more than the other one, but I'm also using a different brush. But I love these types of shades. I could see myself using both of these colors quite frequently, honestly. Like throwing it into a bag and going on vacation. I like this. I like both of them. I would highly recommend the blush already. So now we're going to take the more taupery shades. And I think on this side, since it's more like purpley, we're going to do this one and this highlighter. It just looks like it's going to be really icy, like an icy pink. So let's test it out. Yep. Super icy pink. It doesn't, it's like extremely foiled. It doesn't seem to have glitters in it from what I can tell right now, but that is intense. That is intense. I might take some of that and put some in my inner corner actually. Wet n Wild always does really well with their highlighters. It's no secret. Wet n Wild's like one of the best drugstore highlighters you can find out there. And then we're going to go into this one here, which is kind of like a pinky with gold reflect. Ooh, this one's pretty. I'm really excited. It felt really buttery too. It definitely looks way more gold. I was not expecting that. I thought more pink would shine through, but more gold is shining through. It's pretty. I just kind of do wish more pink shines through though. I'm a big fan of like pinky peachy highlighters, but this definitely looks more gold. So, I mean, I don't hate it. I think it's pretty, but I wish more pink kind of came through on it. Which one do you like the best? I think I like this one the best. I think I'm going to apply a little bit of blush on my nose. That lighter shade, that pinkier lighter shade. Well, a little bit. That one's like the most pigment. That one like is going on way more pigmented than the other one. And you know why? It's probably because it doesn't have like a print on it. The other one has a skull on it, and it's probably pressed more. That would make sense to me. I'm gonna take some of the lighter highlight that we used on this side because I really like that one a lot. I would 100% recommend this. I have nothing bad to say about it. Alright, time for the lips. There are two liquid lipsticks, one for Melody and one for Kuromi. And to be honest, they're probably the least thing I was excited about for this collection. Oh my god, I didn't use the brushes! What is wrong with me? How dare I not use these cute brushes? I'm so mad at myself. I can't believe I didn't use them, but this to me seems like it'd be a better highlighting brush than it would be for blush. And this one seems like it'd be a good nose contour. This one I do like because you have your packing brush and a defined brush on the other side. So I'll have to test them out in another video. I am so sorry. I don't know where my mind was. Alright, so here are the liquid lips. So here is the Melody lipstick. It's definitely just like a very bright pink shade. If you're not familiar with their applicators, they divot like this. I actually am a fan of Wet n Wild's matte lipsticks. So I'll put that one on first. I think they tried to do a scent with this. Oh, this is... That is bright, like neon pink. I actually would wear the shade if I had neutral makeup on for sure. Drying down already. Yeah, I think they did try and do a scent. I don't think it smells like bubblegum though. This reminds me of a neon pink shade. It's kind of weird because it looks so warm in comparison, I feel like, to the eye color, but there it is on my hand. It's still drying down. It is pretty. It's opaque. Wet n Wild liquid lipsticks, if you're not familiar, do tend to have like this kind of stickier formula, but I feel like that might be what makes them more comfortable too. So they like stick these up. They're pretty comfortable, but they are sticky. I mean, it's just, none of these liquid lipsticks are like lipsticks that I'd be like, oh my gosh, I need that in my life. But I get why they did them because they totally match the collection. So I'm going to take this one off and put on the other one. Here is Kuromi's liquid lipstick. It's basically like a deep purple. I do like the packaging on these. Like her cap has skulls on them. This is a really deep purple. I honestly thought it'd be lighter. This almost smells like grape soda. Maybe I'm just saying that because it's purple. I feel like there's slight streakiness with this one. I still see pink kind of popping through. Obviously you'd want to use a lip liner with this one. I look like a disaster right now. But here is the Melody one. Ugh. That one feels extra sticky for some reason. If you really like this color, I would say get a lip liner similar to it and then apply it all over your lips first. And then you'd be fine, you know? It does look cool, like here. It's a really deep vampy purple. Whew, taking that off was a big disaster, but I am going to swatch it for you guys right here. These don't transfer when they're on the lips, but it was coming off on this one. I think it just wasn't completely dry, but they don't transfer once they dry down. Okay, so I personally, if I hadn't picked up the whole collection, that would have been the only thing that I really would have been like, I don't really need those, and I just don't see myself using them that much, so that's the only reason why. The next thing that I was extremely excited for are the glosses. The glosses, specifically this one, because come on, look at it. Look at that purple pretty goodness. I love the packaging of these. They're pretty good. This one's called Little Miss Punk, and it is purpley with, these ones have scents too. This one's kind of like purple. This is why I don't think I'm going to do lip swatches right now, because you can't even like see it in the camera. I'll try and dim the light. Dim the light for you, see if that helps. But just like purple flecks with some green and gold. Super pretty. I'm wearing the next one on my lips, and this is the Melody one. This one's like pinky red gold, and again it's what I have on with nothing else. So I'm wearing, there's nothing else on. You can kind of feel the glitters a little bit in them. If you've ever tried Wet n Wild glosses, you either like them or they don't, and I feel like these are pretty much the same as the other ones. So if you just like Wet n Wild glosses and you like the way they look, then you probably will enjoy these. They do irritate just ever so slightly. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't believe I forgot to even use the brushes. The only thing honestly that I think that I'd be like, oh, I would definitely not buy if I were to re-buy it all over again individually would be the liquid lips, just because they're not colors that I personally will wear that much. I do think the pink one was very comfortable. The purple one was a little bit not the best quality. It felt a lot drier and streakier, so it wasn't my favorite at all. I think that my favorite thing was definitely the blush palette. I could see myself using that quite a bit, and also the palettes as well. I do like the lip glosses, but they do have a little bit of that gritty feeling, so that's the only downfall to that, but it is very cute and I'm pleased with most of it. So let me know down below what you think you're going to end up picking up from this collection, and you guys have a great day. Bye!